Are you thinking about moving to Coastal Delaware? Well, before you make the leap, there's a few things that you probably need to know about the lifestyle, the neighborhoods, the traffic, and yes, even the jellyfish that we see during the summertime. In the next few minutes, I'm gonna give you the real scoop of life and living here in Coastal Delaware and what you can expect if you're planning to call these beaches your home. So let's get into it. Picture owning a slice of American history in a town that is nearly 400 years old, where real estate has seen strong appreciation over the past few years, and that's what you get in places like Lewes, which was founded all the way back in 1631 and otherwise known as the first town in the first state. The feel here is totally different from what you might expect. It's laid back and beachy, but it's not in that touristy way that we see in some of the other towns. It's perfect if you're retiring or working from home and you're not completely cut off from big cities, with Philly and Baltimore being just about 2 hours away and DC being just over 2 hours away, all by car. What makes this area so special? While some places along the coast basically shut down after Labor Day, towns like Lewes stay alive all year long. Lewes has about 3,800 full-time residents, and there's always stuff going on even in the wintertime. And when we talk about the tax benefits later, you're gonna understand why so many people are choosing to make this their permanent home rather than just a summer getaway, which it was for so long. For starters, if you love the outdoors, you're gonna love it here. We have amazing state parks throughout the state, with Cape Henlopen being the crown jewel of those, and it happens to be my favorite as well. We've got beautiful beaches and tons of trails in there, and there's some great fishing spots, all that are located in Cape Henlopen State Park, just a few minutes from your home. When you live in Lewes, you get two totally different beach options. On the bay side, you've got calm beaches like Savannah and Johnny Walker beaches, which are perfect for people with little kids or those that enjoy things like stand-up paddleboarding and kayaking. These areas have no big waves, it's mostly just flat water. And then in Cape Henlopen State Park, you've got the ocean beaches as well, so you can fulfill those needs for the bigger waves when you want to go body surfing or anything like that. Now, downtown Lewes is also great too. 2nd Street in Lewes is full of cool local shops and restaurants. We don't have any chain restaurants down here. You've got the infamous Agave, King's Ice Cream, places like Touch of Italy and the Lewes Oyster House. And we've got some fun spots down there as well, like the Kids Catch Toy Store or the Puzzle Store, both of which my daughter absolutely loves. It's pretty cool because I used to go there as a kid, and now I get to take my daughter there as well. Now, by the way, if we haven't officially met yet, my name is Matt Lunden. I'm a local real estate agent here in Coastal Delaware, and on this channel, we break down everything you need to know about living in this amazing area, from the hidden local gems that people love to the neighborhoods that give you the most bang for your buck. And if you're thinking about making the move to Coastal Delaware, hit that subscribe button down below. We put out new videos each and every week with insider information that you're not going to find anywhere else. Now let's talk about something that's going to be the first thing on everyone's mind when they're considering moving here, and that's going to be the housing market. After all, this isn't just about lifestyle, it's about making a smart investment choice when you do make the decision to relocate here. And this is where things get really interesting. The market here has everything from oceanfront mansions to those cute starter homes that are more inland, and really everything in between. In Lewes, our average prices are right around $595,000 right now. That's a little bit misleading, because if you want to be in downtown area, you're going to be looking at an average price of more like $1 million or more. And the market here is going to be very different depending on which area you pick, even within the same zip code. We've got a wide variety of prices across the same zip code. In the historic district of Lewes, we'll find those beautiful homes that date back to the 1700s and 1800s. They can start around $750,000 if they need work, but if they are fully fixed up and fully renovated, they're going to be typically $2 million or more. The canal front homes that we see on Pilot Town Road are some of the hottest spots in all of Coastal Delaware. Prices here can typically start around $1.75 million, but you get these great water views, plus you can keep your boat right there on the canal in one of those docks that often comes with those houses. You just can't beat that. If you want newer construction close to downtown Lewes, look at communities like Tower Hill or Black Oak, both along New Road. They're gorgeous. They have these luxury homes that typically will start in about the $700,000 range, but finished prices will vary pretty greatly between the two. Tower Hill is typically going to be in about the $800,000 to $900,000 range, and Black Oak is going to be a little bit closer to that $1 million mark. Certainly you can spend more than that in either community depending on what you select in options and upgrades and what your home finishes are and all that kind of stuff. Now, if we look at some of the other towns around, we've got places like Rehoboth Beach, where the average sale price is currently about $780,000. So don't worry though, there are some other spots that have lower prices if that feels like it's too much for you. Milton is what I call the sweet spot right now. You get more house for your money while still being close to the beaches, and average prices in Milton right now is about $450,000. You can actually find starter homes in Milton for about $350,000. And we've got some nice mid-range options between that $400,000 and $600,000 range. As we look at a little bit wider another lens of the area, Ocean View is another great choice, kind of the middle ground between beach access and price points. Average price in Ocean View is about $580,000. Most homes are going to be about $500,000 and $650,000, and you're just a few minutes from Bethany Beach, so you still get all the perks without the crazy prices that you can see in the beach towns. For those that are looking for more of the luxury experience, you can check out some of the homes that are on South Bethany's canal system. You can get a waterfront place where your boat's right in your backyard, and you can be out in the bay in just a few minutes. Now, these canal front properties typically cost about $1.5 million or more, so they are for the more luxury focused buyer. And then for the super luxury crowd, we've got places like the oceanfront homes in Fenwick Island and Bethany Beach. Most of those are going to be starting at about $4 million for something that needs a little bit of work, all the way up and above $6 million. But before you get excited about these gorgeous beach properties, there's something crucial that you need to understand about coastal living that a lot of people are not going to tell you up front, and trust me, this could save you from a very expensive mistake down the road. So I think we need to make the shift to a focus on the weather. It's beautiful most of the year here with the exception of a few months. Think of it like this, up north, people don't see their neighbors or their friends for a while in the winter because everyone's in hiding because it's so cold. Down here, July and August can be pretty warm and humid, much like most of the mid-Atlantic, but the rest of the year, it's absolutely beautiful. We typically only experience about 6 to 8 weeks of actual winter, which is fantastic, especially if you're coming from somewhere that is a more northern climate than us. And we still get all 4 seasons. The leaves change color in the fall. You might see snow once every 4 or 5 years, and spring and fall are 2 of the absolute best seasons here with moderate temperatures and plenty to do. Most of our events and festivals are both in the spring and fall. But here's what most people are not going to tell you or may just gloss over. That's hurricane season. You need to be aware of it. It runs from June to November. The state has a whole hurricane awareness week where they tell everyone to get ready with plans and flood insurance if it's needed on your property. Knowing your emergency evacuation plan is crucial for coastal living. Now, we typically do not experience hurricanes that often, but when they do happen, it's important to know what areas typically flood, which ones do not. You don't want to necessarily be buying a home in an area that floods pretty regularly. Now, luckily, most of our area is not in flood zones and does not flood, but there are certainly some areas that are more prone to it than others that you should be aware of before making the move or before making any decisions to purchase a home. I know we touched on the beach a bit earlier. There's another aspect of coastal living that might actually surprise you. So let me introduce you to some of the unexpected neighbors that you're going to be sharing the shore with. Perhaps the biggest concern most people have, sharks. I know that's what everyone always worries about when they're going to the beach. We have 5 main types swimming around our area. We've got sand sharks, spiny dogfish, smooth dogfish. We got some sand tigers. We got some Atlantic mako. Yes, sometimes we even hear about great whites way offshore, but they're just passing through. The good news is that Delaware's only had 5 shark attacks since 1837. And your chance of having a problem is almost zero. Most of those sharks are not looking to interact with humans. Now, what you're much more likely to run into are jellyfish. We got some Atlantic sea nettles. We got some moon jellies. Now, they can't all sting, but they seem to be getting worse each and every year. Lewes lifeguards treated over 1,200 stings by mid-2025. In all of 2024, they only treated 295. So there's quite a big difference in the number of stings we're seeing. Perhaps the best pro tip is to put some vinegar in your beach bag to treat your stings right on the spot. One of the coolest things about living here is our horseshoe crab spawning season from May through June. The Delaware Bay is one of the main breeding grounds for these prehistoric creatures, and every year thousands of these ancient looking animals come up on the bay beaches, and it brings birds from all over the place into our area. It's like watching a nature show right in your backyard. And just know that some beach areas do close during certain times of the year to protect some of the rare birds that we have in the area, like the piping plover, for instance. They close part of Cape Henlopen State Park to protect their nesting grounds. Perhaps my favorite is that dolphins tend to be everywhere in the summer. We love sitting on the beach and watching them as they swim by. It never gets old seeing them. I think they're really cool. Now, all this beach talk probably sounds incredible, but there's one thing that can really put a damper on your coastal paradise if you're not prepared for it. So let's talk about the issue that affects everyone who moves here, who visits here. No matter which town you choose, it's a common occurrence for everyone. Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The traffic situation here can get rough, especially along Coastal Highway, heading into the beach areas, and more predominantly between Lewes and Rehoboth. Summer weekends, it's important to plan ahead. What should be a 20-minute drive can easily take an hour during the peak tourist season. We get almost 9 million visitors every year, and they all take the same main roads coming and going to their destination. So it's just a lot of extra people on our roadways. Outside of the summertime, it's not so bad, but certainly during the summer months, it gets busy. There's good news though. If you know when to travel, which back roads to take, all those kind of things, you can avoid the majority of it. The state's been really good recently about widening some roads and intersection, adding in some traffic lights and making some changes. They're spending $50 million to fix the bad 5 Points crossing near Lewes. And while some feel like it's a little bit too late for all of this, I think the infrastructure changes are a positive sign of the state taking notice and adapting where it's needed, so that way we can address some of these traffic concerns. Now, even with all the growth in our area, it is nothing like DC or Philly traffic. I've had so many clients from these bigger cities tell me, you call this traffic, that's nothing, you should go back to where we're moving from. So as for getting around without a car, that's gonna be tough. The DART Beach Bus runs from May to September with park and rides in both Rehoboth and Lewes. It's very inexpensive, just for a $2 one-way ticket, or you can get a week pass for $16. But the rest of the year, you'd need a car most likely. Uber and Lyft exist, but they can be hard to find, especially in the off-season when the area tends to slow down pretty significantly. Now, this leads us to another important consideration if you're thinking about retiring here, or if you have ongoing health concerns. And here's what you need to know before making the move. Healthcare is a major factor, especially if you're gonna be retiring here. We get questions about it all the time. We've got multiple hospital systems in the area with BB Healthcare, Bay Health, Christianic Care, and Tidal Health. Now, each one has various locations throughout the area and provide both emergency care and specialized care through their networks. But I've got to be 100% honest with you. The initial appointment can often take a little bit to get set up. I do remind our clients that if you have specialized care that you need regular appointments for, it's important to start calling for those initial appointments before you move into the area. That way, a lot of your wait time for that initial appointment can be when you're still living in your current home location and you have access to your current doctor. Now, if you need something very specialized, you might end up needing to drive to Christiana in Newark, or even to Philly or Baltimore for some of the bigger university hospitals, because we don't have those in this area. Now, emergency readiness is no joke here either. The Delaware Emergency Management Agency wants everyone to have their go bags ready, know their escape routes, and have a family communication plan for when emergencies do strike. Things like storm surge from hurricanes are real dangers that can occur, especially with those homes that are right on the beach, and being prepared for those potential hazards can prevent them from being catastrophic and causing bigger concerns than they typically would. But don't worry, it's not all challenges. There's actually a huge financial upside to living in Delaware that makes many people choose it over our neighboring states. And this next part could save you tens of thousands of dollars just over a few years. You're not gonna have to change anything about your lifestyle. Now, this is where Delaware really shines. Our tax situation is absolutely awesome. There's no sales tax. Again, zero, nada, zilch. You buy a $5,000 refrigerator, no sales tax. You buy furniture for that new beach house you just bought, no tax on that either. Now, I've had clients save thousands of dollars just by waiting to make their big ticket purchases until they move here. If they would have bought them in their home state, they would have spent hundreds or thousands of dollars more. Now, income taxes here aren't bad. I know there's some states with zero, but rates go from 0% on the first $2,000 you make up to 6.6% on income over $60,000. And retirees can get nice breaks on pension income and Social Security as well. Now, property taxes are where Delaware really shines, and Sussex County, where we're located, leads the state when it comes to low property taxes. On a $500,000 house, typical property taxes will be about $1,500 to $2,000 per year, not per month, per year, which means you're saving thousands every year compared to similar homes in New Jersey, New York, and even some parts of Maryland. Our utilities are going to run about $180 to $200 for energy and about $100 for water and sewer. So figure about $500 each month, depending on how much you use. Obviously, if you've got a larger home than the average, you're going to be spending a little bit more for heating and energy and everything else. Now, groceries and restaurant costs are about the same as the national average. There's nothing really shocking there, but I do find that we are much more cost effective in our areas than the major cities that are nearby us. When I go travel to some other major cities, I find their cost to be much higher. Now, with all these pros and cons in mind, you might be wondering, what does the future hold for coastal Delaware? Is this a smart long-term investment? So let's discuss what's coming next. It's no secret that Sussex County isn't just growing, it's absolutely booming. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the Northeast, with the population up nearly 30% since 2010. That's double Delaware's overall growth rate and 4 times the national average. So we are seeing a ton of people moving here. By 2035, the state expects Sussex County will have about 285,000 residents, which is an increase from about the 270,000 that we currently have. That's like adding a whole new city in the next few years. Most of these folks are coming from bigger cities and higher tax areas, all looking for a better quality of life. Now, this growth is pushing new building everywhere. West of Coastal Highway, housing is absolutely booming. There's new construction communities all over the place, which does put some strain on our roads and our our water system, the county council is always debating how to balance all of this growth while still keeping our farmland and our wetlands intact. If you are considering buying a new construction home, I know it can be quite overwhelming because there are so many options in the area currently, and we help clients with new construction all the time. So if you feel like you're getting lost with information overload, just reach out to us. We'd be happy to help provide some clarity on your situation. So there you have it. Coastal Delaware offers this perfect mix of laid-back beach living, fairly affordable housing, at least compared to some of the other beach areas, and some major tax advantages. But now you know the real deal. Traffic in the summer can be quite the nightmare. Hurricane and flood risks are real things to consider and be aware of. You're definitely going to meet some jellyfish, particularly in August, and public transportation barely exists here, and the real estate market keeps changing each and every year. Now, whether you're leaning toward places like historic Lewes, or if you're leaning towards busy Rehoboth, or maybe down in the quiet resorts like Bethany, or some of the more affordable spots like Milton or Ocean View, Coastal Delaware gives you this amazing chance to have the great quality of life with a solid investment potential. If you are thinking about buying or selling a home here at the Delaware beaches, my team and I would absolutely love to be your real estate resource of choice. All of our contact information is going to be down below in the description. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need help or if you have questions about the area that we can help provide some clarity on. We appreciate you tuning in, and I hope to see you on the next one.